Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And as we shared at the end of video number 2 with Ty, we're going to make video number 3 all about Thach Nguyen. Ty, I got to tell you, months ago when you told me about this wonderful event coming up and you teased that you had to move the date to get the one and only Thach, I was like, I'm coming. I don't care what happens. I just like to be around that individual. I love his story. I could listen to that guy talk for hours. He's just so wonderful. So tell the world about your history with Ty or Thach, because you go back decades with them, and then we'll talk about the event specifically.
Yeah, so I got to say that Thach Nguyen is incredible. He's a brother. We met in the probably about 95, 96, roughly.
Wow.
Yeah,
30 years ago almost.
Yeah. So we literally, and he and I were fast friends. We met each other. It's funny because there was another guy, another friend of ours, Ron, happened to be at the event, and Ron said it best. He goes, man, when you guys met and when that group came together, you guys were so raw and so energetic and so ambitious, and just like there was like a magic about it. So Thach has been a dear brother. I'm super proud of him and everything that he does and all that he's accomplished, and even more so, even the contribution. I want to share too that we'll talk about in a minute, but I love the fact I wanted to get him and you and him in a room together. And that was probably one of the most special moments, was to hear the two of you talking shop. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but getting the two of you run, to me, I would say that you and Thach are two of the most genius, prolific people out there sharing and teaching. Big presence on YouTube, big presence in social media. And not only that, but two people that really actually do the business.
Yeah.
Do the business at a high level.
Yes.
And do the business and do what you do purely out of contribution to share. And it's about legacy now. It's about contribution now of what you're doing on content. So not about, look at you and how great you are, but really about contribution. So the two of you, in my standpoint, are the two best in the country, two of the best in the country of that contribution and giving back, if you will. So I love it, Michael.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. That is high praise. I strive to be in Thach's orbit, let alone side by side with him. So that's a huge compliment. I honestly don't think we're there yet. Maybe someday. But yeah, Thach and I rapped. That was a special moment. There's somebody who took a picture of us. I didn't even know it happened until I saw it on social media. I'm like, I got to save that picture. That was pretty cool. But yeah, Thach is amazing for a couple of things. So let's talk about his closing session at the event.
Yep.
I think there were a couple of things. One of the subtle ones that I noted is the real estate community, we've only got Thach for about 3 or 4 more years. What do I mean by that?
Yep.
I think he was pretty clear that he's going to go hard like Thach does until he's 55. And I think he's 51. He might be 52. It might feel like years, but trust me, folks, it's going to go by in a heartbeat. And then we should wish Thach everything. He doesn't have to be doing what he's doing today, but to know that there's a clock on this and he's going to go be with his wife and his family, and his boys are almost in college, and empty nester and travel and do all the stuff that he fully deserves and frankly probably has missed out on because he was building this amazing life. We've only got him for a little window. So if you have yet to follow Thach, I think he's got 1 million people on Instagram, 2 million on TikTok. I think he's got 50,000 or more on YouTube. You need to follow Thach Nguyen. So that was my first takeaway. I was like, ooh, I got to write that down, right? Because we've only got a little window. And then it was really funny to hear him talk about all you need is 10, right? Because if you heard my story, I just try to get people to 4, right? If you get to 4, great, go to 10 if you want. But Thach spent most of his talk doing the math. It was like, come on, guys, why are you doing these? Why are you talking about 100 when all you need is 10? And oh, by the way, if you do a single family and then you add an ADU and a junior, he was very much in the ADUs, and it's like, you don't need that much. And then it's about time and quality of life and Why you want all these headaches? And he was really like, folks, get your mind right. Don't try to build this thing of hundreds. Just get it to 10, right? So what I would tell you to do is go from 0 to 4. And then if you can, go from 4 to 10. Life's great. I mean, I have a weekly expert, Dion. He got to 18 doors. He's financially free. Let's remove the BS of bigger is better. Bigger is not better for most people. It's just not. If you can be financially better off at 4, go get 4.
Yep.
If you need to get to 10, and oh, by the way, if it takes you 10 years to get 10, I'd be the first to tell you that is totally okay.
Yeah.
Totally okay. So those were some of the things that I took away from Thach. What were some of your big takeaways?
No, I love the bigger's better. It's interesting too, knowing Thach for as long as I've known him. He's so like animated and in such a like expressive driver and go, go, go. But to see him break down the math in the event and show like, look, it's about time. It's something you say all the time, which it's not timing the market. It's time in the market.
Exactly.
And I love. So he showed deals that he had bought like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And he showed, okay, I bought this for 100 or 150. And then here's what it's worth. And now we're building an ADU in the back. And he just, the storytell of actually showing case studies of, you know, actually doing it. And not only that, but look, he's in his 50s and he showed it was a path of him and his wife, Cammie, their sacrifice, their ability, like something you talk about all the time. And I think there's so many parallels to compare and similarities of like your wife, I'm assuming is very private, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah. Yes.
Is that true?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. She's like, stop saying stuff, Michael. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, right. Doesn't want to. Same thing with Cammie, like with Thach's wife. And I've known them and I spent a lot of time with Cammie and Thach and very private. And like, he's out doing his thing. And I think you're right, though. I think like he said it, he alluded to it. I don't think everybody really caught on, but it is a window. And it's a window because I know that he wants to have a massive, and it's always, even as a young man, this was cool. More than anyone else I've known that we've grown up in the business together. He knew even back then, I want to have a massive impact on other people. Not egotistical. And the reason is because of his story going back to, he told that, right? And some of you know it, some of you may not, how he came here. His family came from Vietnam. They lived in a refugee camp. They were home. They lived in a homeless shelter. And then like his mission in life is to inspire and touch as many people as he can and have that positive impact. And it just happens to be through this beautiful gift we all have and share, which is real estate.
Yeah.
So
I love he just has a way to tell stories. Thach is a natural born storyteller. And I respect it because it all is essentially what we talk about. It's do the work, daily discipline. What is the one thing that he gets credit for? He door knocked on 100 doors for like 11 years straight.
Yep.
You want to talk about daily discipline, folks? Find your thing, right? And you can move the world with daily discipline, whatever it is. But yeah, we've got him for a little time. So folks, we need to pay attention. We need to absorb. We need to follow. We need to support. And to see what he's doing now, giving back, right? He's building soccer fields and he's already giving back in ways that, again, I hope to be in his orbit someday, right? We did a big food bank giveaway earlier in the year, but we should be doing more, right? He's just showing me we have more to do. I love everything about Thach and his story.
He is so, this is interesting. He is so contribution based. Even before that, he didn't talk about this, but like he was featured, this was like 15 years ago. He was featured on not Good Morning America, but it was a similar show on CBC, American Heroes, where he has given massively to the local homeless shelters and helped provide housing and all of that. He's such an advocate of the people. And I want to share that this is interesting too about the disciplines. He still to this day still door knocks.
Yeah.
So he still loves door knocking. He has a very targeted like areas where he can develop, redevelop, or do ADUs, but he'll still go out to this day. And I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like it, in talking with him, was like 20 or 30 doors. He'll just for kicks and giggles, but he's out
just to
there
lead
still
by
working.
example. Yeah. Yeah.
Lead by
And
example.
he doesn't have to do it, but he knows he needs to stay sharp. He needs to stay relevant. He needs to stay in the market. And I respected Thach before I got to the event. I respected him more during. And then, you know, a lot of for me, I don't like to fly. So I have to have purpose in my flights. So my whole flight home was reviewing notes from Thach's presentation. And that's where it hit me. I actually wrote down 55 and I had to think, why did I write that down? I'm like, oh my God, we only have him for this. It's going to be a minute. It's going to be a heartbeat. So we've just got to absorb everything we can.
He is such a gift. And I want to say this too, because I think this is important. I want to really get this out because it's so important about what you talk about discipline and living below your means, and, you know, the sacrifice and the grind, and, you know, and sometimes you got to do the tough thing. This was interesting about Thach at his level of where he's at. So we were originally going to do the event in June, and it wasn't working out. The dates weren't working out for him. I said to Thach, I said, you know what? We will charter a private jet in order for you to make this, because he was speaking somewhere else. He's speaking to the NFL Players Association.
Wow.
Saving your money and investing. That's how in demand he is. I said, we'll charter a jet so that we can get you there. And he goes, no, I won't let you do that. He goes, I won't waste money on, even if it's your money. He goes, I won't waste money. That's how disciplined he is. And that's how, and it was more important to him. It was more important. That's why we did the thing about the soccer fields, is he goes, no, we're not going to waste money on that. He goes, I won't do that. I don't fly private. Not that I won't eventually, but he goes, I'm not going to let you waste your money like that. That's how disciplined and committed this guy is to, you know, living below your means, being a good steward of your money and your funds and such. So the guy is so amazing. He's such a gift. People should follow him. He's the real deal, just like you're the real deal. Also, I want to share, Michael and Thach, we were in a private room, which is really part of, I wanted to get you guys together, and it happened to magically happen. And just hearing Michael and Thach talk about bigger is not better.
Yeah.
Doing the syndications, doing these big apartment deals. There's so much risk involved unnecessarily. Whereas one rental at a time, that's the real game.
Yeah.
That's the real game, because there's peace of mind in that. And you can scale up as big as you want, but it's doing it in a way that's manageable, that doesn't steal your life.
Yeah. And it's funny, Thach and I also spent a lot of time highlighting individuals who have chosen to sell their name to raise money, right? When you're in syndications, you can either be a deal finder, an operator, or a capital raiser. We happen to know some individuals, because we've been in the game a while, who have sold out and are just selling their name to raise money. And both Thach and I are like, that's going to end really badly, right? People are sold out their names, and they're going to be mud in 24 months. And Thach and I are like, it's not the way to do it, man. It's just, what are you doing, right? Just help people get to 4, get to 10. Life changes. What is this? Why does everybody feel you need to do bigger is better? It's just not the thing. So it was fun to hear Thach kind of agree and name drop privately some people. There was like, that's not going to end well. So it was fun to get validation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do me a favor, Ty, where can people find you?
I'm easy. It's tylg.com. Go there, send me a text message. We can stay connected. Links to some of our previous shows. Michael, thank you for all that you do for the One Rental at a Time community, the real estate community, the YouTube community. You're such a giver, and I really love everything that you always put out. So thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Awesome, Ty. Thank you very much. Thanks for stepping in.